Today, we're going to get into the microscopic world of plants to figure out the secret engineering that lets a single blade of grass stand up straight or a giant sequoia tower over us for centuries.
I mean, really stop and think about that for a second. How can a tree take on hurricane-force winds, the crushing weight of snow, and just the constant, relentless pull of gravity for hundreds or even thousands of years? It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer, well, it's an incredible piece of engineering.
You see, the secret isn't just in the big, obvious parts, like the trunk or the roots. Nope. The real source of all that strength is hidden deep, deep inside, at the cellular level. To find the blueprint for this natural skyscraper, we've got to zoom in, way, way in.
And here we are. This is the hero of our story today, something called the secondary cell wall. Think of it as a secret internal skeleton that the plant cell builds for itself, but only after it's all done growing. This is where the real power comes from.
So when a plant cell is young and growing, it has what's called a primary wall. It's thin, it's flexible, it has to be, so the cell can get bigger. But once it hits its final size, that's when the construction project begins. It starts building the secondary wall on the inside. It's kind of like trading in a flexible jacket for a full suit of armor. This thing is thick, it's rigid, and it is built to last.
Okay, so how in the world does a tiny cell build something so tough? Well, it uses two key materials that work together perfectly, and honestly, it's just like the rebar and concrete we use to build our own strongest buildings.
First up, you've got cellulose. The best way to think about these are like long fibrous steel rods, the rebar. They are incredibly strong if you try to pull them apart, which gives the wall amazing tensile strength. They form this crisscrossing framework, a skeleton within the wall itself.
But rebar by itself is pretty flimsy, right? It needs something more. So the plant pours in the concrete. This stuff is a complex polymer called lignin, and what it does is it seeps into all the nooks and crannies between those cellulose fibers and hardens into this super rigid matrix. This is what gives the wall its compression strength, what keeps it from getting crushed.
And lignin is so much more than just concrete. It's this multi-purpose wonder material. Not only does it add a ton of mechanical strength, but it also makes the wall waterproof, which is absolutely crucial for moving water around the plant. It acts like a shield, protecting against rotten diseases, and it even makes the plant tissue tough and pretty gross for animals to eat. It's a scaffold, a shield, and plumbing, all rolled into one.
All right, so we've got our rebar, cellulose, and our concrete, lignin. But the real genius here isn't just the materials, it's how they're put together. Because this secondary wall, it's not just one solid block. It's actually a super sophisticated, multi-layered structure.
It's usually built in 3 different layers, which we call S1, S2, and S3. They get laid down from the outside in. So first you have the S1 layer, right up against the old primary wall. Then comes the S2 layer, and this is the big one, the thickest and most important layer for strength. And then finally sometimes, there's a thin little S3 layer on the very inside.
So here's the absolute key. The secret isn't just that there are 3 layers. The real magic is that the cellulose fibers, our rebar, are laid down at different angles in each layer. The source material puts it perfectly. It's this difference in orientation that's the whole ballgame.
And this is a principle we humans use all the time. It's exactly like plywood. If you've ever looked at the edge of a piece of plywood, you see the different layers. By crossing the grain of the wood in each sheet, you create a material that is unbelievably strong in every direction. The plant cell figured this out millions of years ago, creating a natural composite that can resist twisting, bending, and crushing from pretty much any angle. It's brilliant.
Now, you might be thinking, a solid, waterproof wall is awesome for strength. But a plant is a living thing, right? Its cells need to talk to each other, they need to transport water and nutrients. How do they get anything through this fortress? Well, they build in windows. And these windows have a name. They're called pits. They're basically just tiny little tunnels or gaps where the cell intentionally decides not to deposit the secondary wall. This leaves a perfect little channel connecting one cell right to its neighbor, letting water and signals flow right through.
And they even have different designs. A simple pit is, well, simple. It's just a straight channel. But then you have the bordered pit, which is way more complex. Here, the secondary wall actually arches up and over the opening, creating this kind of protective dome. It's a more advanced design that gives the plant a little more control over the flow. Just another layer of amazing sophistication.
Okay, so let's zoom back out. All of these tiny microscopic details, the layers, the different angles of the fibers, the little windows, they all scale up to have absolutely massive consequences for the entire plant.
I mean, this one structure is doing so much work. It provides the raw mechanical support that literally holds the entire plant up against gravity. Its rigid, waterproof design creates the plant's plumbing system, the xylem, that pulls water all the way from the roots to the highest leaves. It even locks in the final shape of each cell, which in turn determines the shape of the whole plant.
And that brings us right back to where we started. The incredible, almost unbelievable strength of that ancient tree, it's not magic. It's the direct result of this one brilliant microscopic design built with cellulose and lignin, layered like plywood, and then repeated billions and billions of times over to create the giant that we see.
Think about it. The wood in your chair, the desk you're sitting at, the paper in your book, it's all built from this same microscopic blueprint. It's an amazing reminder that sometimes the biggest, most powerful forces come from the most elegant designs on the smallest of scales. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other incredible secrets are hiding all around us, just in plain sight?